Think you know everything there is to know about iOS 18? Well, in this video, I consider 50 low-key features in iOS 18, and I guarantee there's going to be a few that you didn't know. But first, a word from our sponsor. 9to5Mac is sponsored by MacPaul, creators of Clean My Mac X and Clean My Phone. Clean My Mac X is an all-in-one utility that removes clutter, optimizes performance, and protects your Mac from malware. Remove unneeded files with a single click, restoring your Mac's performance. With Clean My Mac X, your computer is now ready for the new version of Mac OS. Try it for free with a 7-day trial, then upgrade to the full experience with 5% off using the link in the description. And Clean My Phone is a comprehensive iPhone cleaner app designed to free up space and organize your photos. It removes duplicates, blurs, and other clutter, and simplifies photo management, all while keeping your data secure and private. You're now set for what's new in iOS 18. Try it today with a 3-day trial and upgrade to the full experience using the link below. Special thanks to MacPaul for sponsoring 9to5Mac. Now, if you've been running iOS 18, you've probably already spotted this. The button bezel impressions when you press any of the buttons on your iPhone, just like that. Now, Apple usually doesn't make arbitrary changes like this for no reason. Rumors indicate that the iPhone 16 will feature capacitive buttons, and this could be another indicator. You also have the dynamic flashlight, which is a pretty cool new feature in iOS 18. So right here is how it used to look with the dynamic island with the flashlight, right? You could turn it on or off. But here on iOS 18, it's a little bit different. So notice you already saw a little sneak preview there, but when you tap the dynamic island, you get this view. And actually it's been updated in beta 3 with an improved design, but the basic premise is the same. So what this allows you to do is to adjust the intensity of the flashlight just like that. You could always do that, right? But this allows you to do so directly from the dynamic island. But the real cool thing is that you're able to change the beam angle by swiping horizontally. Super cool. So another hidden feature is that the stopwatch now works with the dynamic island. So here on the left side, iOS 17, no stopwatch in the dynamic island when I dismiss it. But here on iOS 18, you get the stopwatch right there conveniently located in the island. And you can long press to increase the lapse or pause and play like that. And of course, it also appears on the lock screen as well, just like this. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. And if you're an iPhone 15 Pro owner, you can now assign controls directly to the action button. So if you go into settings and go to the action button, you now have this new control option. You can go in and choose a control, and these are controls from Control Center. So you can do things beyond the scope of what the action button could do in iOS 17. So for instance, I can make it so that it enables airplane mode with just the press and hold of the action button, just like this. So let's go ahead and press it. And airplane mode is on, and I can press and hold again, and then airplane mode is disabled. Nice. And for the first time, you can hide icon text labels. So go into edit mode, tap edit in the upper left-hand corner, tap customize, and this is where you can go to switch to the dark icons. And of course, everyone loves that. But the thing I like is when you switch to the large icons, you'll notice that the text labels go away, so you can effectively hide the text for your app icons. That complements being able to rearrange your app icons quite nicely. Now you can also resize widgets directly in the icons by long pressing on a widget like that and tapping the icon button just like that. But you can also do the opposite, long press on an app icon and change it directly into a widget like that. You can also shut down your iPhone directly from Control Center, so you no longer have to perform finger gymnastics in order to shut down your phone. You just open Control Center and then long press on the little power button in the upper right hand corner and then slide to power off. You can also view the current time from a dead iPhone. So if you press and hold the side button, you'll see in the upper left hand corner, yep, the current time. You can also change lock screen buttons. So if you long press on the lock screen, we'll go ahead and go into edit mode for the lock screen, tap customize, tap the lock screen, and now you'll see the ability to remove the existing buttons and replace them with your own custom buttons. So just press the plus button, and again, these are controls from Control Center. So I have the calculator there, and then I'll replace the flashlight. maybe the stopwatch. Actually, no, let's go ahead and change that back up. Let's make that one dark mode. How about that? If I can find it, where is it? There we go. All right, so we have dark mode and calculator. So just tap done. So now you can launch the calculator just like that. And now you can also invoke dark mode instantly by pressing the button. Now you may be wondering, if I remove the camera shortcut, how can I take quick photos from the lock screen? Just swipe like that. You can also assign a lock screen button to a shortcut. So you can really do some crazy stuff here. So we're going to do the exact same thing, but this time search for shortcuts and then add the shortcut there. And then you just tap like this to customize the shortcut with your shortcut of choice. So tap done. And now I just press that and I have a shortcut for search 9 to 5 Mac. Press it like that. Type in my search term. Tap done. And there's my results. You can also have lock screen buttons linked to wallpaper, which is really cool. All right, so I have this wallpaper, tap focus, and I'm going to link this wallpaper with the stock buttons to the music focus. So here's my customized wallpaper with the customized buttons, but watch what happens when I invoke the music focus. Not only will the wallpaper change, but the buttons go back to default. That's super cool. And those could be any buttons, whatever you want to set up. And if you're an iPhone 15 Pro owner, yeah, we're going to take it to the next level. We're going to customize the action button to invoke that music focus. So when I press and hold the action button, it invokes the focus, which switches the wallpaper, which switches the buttons. That's cool. Now you can add any shortcut to Control Center as well. Did you know that? Well, let me show you. So we're going to go in, customize Control Center, add shortcut, tap on it, and now we can add our own custom shortcut. Have search 9 to 5 Mac in there, just like that. So just press on it, and I can do the exact same thing that I did from the lock screen. Just like that. Now you can also access Print Center from Control Center, which is interesting because previously Print Center was only available whenever you were printing and it would show up in the app switcher. But here, when I print, you'll notice it doesn't automatically show up in the app switcher anymore. You actually have to invoke the Print Center, and you can do that directly from Control Center. Just like that. Interesting. It's cool that you can launch Print Center independently, but I'm not a big fan of this change. I like how it appeared automatically when printing in the app switcher, but nonetheless, you can still access it from Control Center. Now, another sort of low-key feature is the fact that you can now lock your apps, in this case, require Face ID before you launch that application. So when you long press on an app, you just select require Face ID, and you have two options here. So the first one, just plain old require Face ID. The second one, hide and require Face ID. So the first one is just a lock. It doesn't hide the application, but it simply locks it, and then it requires Face ID to open it, just like this. All right, so that can be handy, but you can also hide the app as well. So first we disable require Face ID, then go back and re-enable and select hide and require Face ID. And this will obscure the app icon and the name. The app will disappear from the home screen, and you'll notice a special hidden folder in the app library. You tap on that, you verify, and then you can launch any of your hidden applications. What do you guys think? Would you actually use that? There's also a new journal app widget, which is pretty low key. Don't think a lot of people know about this yet, but it's a pretty simple widget, basically a prompt for coming up with new journal entries and a quick entry option. Now you can also add cards to the wallet with NFC now in iOS 18. So this NFC enabled card, I can just hold it to the back of my iPhone like that, and it adds the card without having to use the camera or without having to enter any numbers manually. It's a pretty handy new addition. Speaking of wallet, there's now tap to pay direct. So even if a person isn't in your contacts, you now have the option to just tap to pay them directly using Apple Cash. So I can just put in the value, add a note if I want to do that, tap next, verify with the double click on the side button, use Face ID, and then simply hold that phone next to the recipient's phone, of course, running iOS 18. And the cool thing about this, they don't have to be in your contacts. It just works. Well, it will just work once, both phones are running iOS 18. But another cool thing, you can also invoke tap to cache directly from Control Center, so you don't even have to go into the Wallet app to get started. Now, of course, iOS 18 got a new passwords app. That's not a low-key feature by any stretch of the imagination, but this feature is when you choose a different password other than the one that's suggested connected to the domain, it's going to ask you, hey, do you want to use this password with the domain that you're trying to access now? And you can use it once if you want to, or you can use and add that website. So in the future, it will present to you that password as well. So that's a very nice feature that's going to save you a lot of time. You don't have to go in and search for that password going forward. So let me show you what happens when I tap the password button and verify. You can see it is now suggesting both passwords, just like that. Now, when setting up Apple Card in the Wallet app in iOS 18, you'll find a new page to add to other devices. So not just adding the Apple Card to your phone, but hey, while you're at it, go ahead and add it to your other iPhone, your other iPad, your Apple Vision Pro. Okay, so better search inside videos in the Photos app. So you can see iOS 17 on the left, iOS 18 on the right. You're searching for a particular item, more search results on iOS 18. And speaking of photos, there's a new video scrubber in the Photos app. And I don't know if this is a low-key feature, but it's one that I definitely don't like. Hopefully Apple will revert because, in theory it's nice, but it totally eliminates the context as to where you are within the video. So in Photos, when you go into edit mode and you tap the ellipsis in the upper right hand corner, you will find a new appearance option. So you can switch over to dark mode so that you can see how your photo looks against a dark background. Now there's also new utility categories within the Photos app. So things like receipts and handwriting. I can definitely see receipts though being super handy. Another really nice feature in Photos that can kind of fly under the radar is that videos now loop. They don't just stop when they get to the end, but they keep playing and loop. You'll also notice a new user interface for adjusting camera options within Control Center. So here's how it used to look on iOS 17. Just had these two little buttons there. You could change your various camera settings. But on iOS 18, you actually tap the little privacy control section, and that reveals your video camera options for things like FaceTime, coupled with a brand new UI. And this too has been updated in the latest Beta 3 release. You'll also notice that camera settings are much easier to get to. Look how close they are to the top in iOS 18. And music playback is now possible while using the camera. So if you go into camera settings and you go into record sound, which is a new option, you'll see stereo and mono. But this is the feature I want you to pay attention to, allow audio playback. So this will allow audio playback while recording a video. The audio will not pause at all. So let me let you see how this works. So you can hear the audio playing. And now we're going to open the camera and we're going to start a video and start recording. Normally the sound would stop, but not on iOS 18. I also love how you can filter screenshots within the Photos app. So if you tap this button here and go to View Options, you can uncheck Show Screenshots to quickly tidy up your library. And here's a really cool feature. You can now copy and paste edits in Photos. Now, obviously you could do that before, but now you have a granular selection of all the various edits that you actually want to copy over. So here, I don't have to copy everything. I can just choose a couple. For instance, crop aspect ratio or filter. So I'm just going to choose those two, copy those, and now when I paste, only those two edits will be applied. Just like that. So you can compare the two, see quite a bit of a difference. Now there's also new dynamic wallpaper in Beta 3. So now you can see as you switch between the wallpaper, you see dynamic. This wallpaper will change dynamically as you see there. Obviously a little bit slower in reality, but it will change throughout the day. What do you guys think? I really like it. There's also vehicle motion cues. Now this is an accessibility setting. So you know how you get motion sick when you try to look at your phone while your car is in motion? Well, this new feature helps reduce that by putting dots near the edge of the screen that move in concert with your moving vehicle to help your brain correlate the motion in the vehicle versus the whatever content you're looking at on screen. Now I suffer from this. If I try to read something on my phone while a vehicle's in motion, it does make me sort of nauseous. I did test this out and it seemed to work pretty well. Doesn't completely eliminate it, but it works well. Sticking with the accessibility theme, there's also vocal shortcuts. So vocal shortcuts allow you to set up your own keyword shortcut for a particular Siri request or for a particular shortcut within the Shortcuts app. So here I'm going to set up a Siri request. So set a timer for 5 minutes. So it's going to perform that action with Siri, but I want to give it a custom phrase as well. So I just say timer, and then I just say timer, timer again, and then timer one last time so it can recognize the phrase. So now all I have to do is say my keyword, timer, and it launches that custom Siri command. There's also Vision Pro like eye tracking. And this seems to work a little bit better in the latest betas, but basically the premise is that you look at these little dots so that iOS can calibrate the position of your eyes relative to the iPhone's display, or I guess I should say the true depth camera. And then as you look around the display, it's able to know exactly what you're looking at or roughly where you're looking. There's also reader mode for the Magnifier app. So if you open up Magnifier and you capture some text like this, you're going to see a new reader option. Tap the button and there you have easy to read text. And if you're hearing impaired, then music haptics is going to be really cool. So basically the premise of this is that it will vibrate using the Taptic engine to simulate how the song sounds, basically, or the beat of the song. There's also an improved live recognition camera. So within the Magnifier app, you can see it will detect and actually spell out exactly or roughly what it's looking at. Doesn't work perfectly, but I could see this definitely being a handy accessibility option. Let's look at our phone. See what it says. Yep, person holding a smartphone. There's also new fire and dark background sounds. So in accessibility settings, go to audio and visual, background sounds. There's night. And there's fire. You can also easily share Wi-Fi passwords via the Passwords app. So inside the app, you'll see Wi-Fi. Just tap on that. Tap on a Wi-Fi password, then you'll see a QR code option. You just tap on that, show network QR code, and you can use this code to quickly join the corresponding Wi-Fi network. Now we all know about the send later feature in iMessage. That's certainly not what I would call a hidden feature, but what happens when you schedule a message and your iPhone is off? So I scheduled this message for 12:45 in 2 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and power down my iPhone. So what will happen to that message? Will I actually receive it? Well, the answer to that question is yes, because that end-to-end encrypted message sits on Apple's servers until it's time to send it, and it does so, even if your phone's off. Another low-key feature is the fact that you can now perform calculations, not just in the Notes app with math notes and things like that, but a lot of places. For instance, right here within the Messages app, I can perform a simple calculation. And speaking of the calculator, previously in iOS 17 and below, you would swipe like that to delete individual digits. But here on iOS 18, now you actually have a delete button. So you tap that delete button to individually delete a digit one by one. But that's not the only place where deleting has been refined. Wow, that was a terrible transition, but here in the Music app, if you edit a playlist, now you can bulk delete playlist items, just like this. So you can just select multiple items and delete them in one fell swoop. And going back to the old school, you also have T9 dialing on the iPhone. This lets you spell out a contact name like Apple to quickly dial that number. And the podcast app will now display the chapters as you scrub through the timeline like that. So you can jump to the exact chapter that you want to get to. Pretty handy, right? And you can change the monthly view in the calendar with a pinch. This is a huge improvement to the month view in calendar. In fact, it's actually usable now. And the TV app gets enhanced dialogue, just like this, which greatly improves the ability to hear dialogue and scenes with a lot of background noise going on. But not just that, also Apple launched its Insight feature that tells you in real time what actors are on screen and also the music that's playing in the background. Now, in Safari for iOS 18, you'll notice an updated Safari reader. So you get a redesign there. That's cool, right? But not just that, you also get a lot more settings in a much more dense settings panel for that particular page. So you can quickly do tab actions, website settings, and page actions, all from the same place. So tab actions, of course, pin tab, move to tab group, etc. And you also get a nice little handy search button in the bottom left-hand corner right here that allows you to search for your various words within the articles. And something really cool for fans of the Translate app, the appropriate language keyboard will automatically be displayed. So I have Chinese Mandarin, and you can see it automatically updates with the Pinyin keyboard for easy Chinese character entry. And it does that for other languages as well. And in the Health app, you can pin your favorite HealthKit metrics right there on the main summary page. So if you tap Edit, you can choose any of the activity metrics and pin them just like that. And in iOS 18, you can now finally choose a preferred home hub. That means an Apple TV or a HomePod as long as it's running tvOS or HomeOS 18. And in the Files app, you can now choose to keep files downloaded. In other words, you can save files for offline access within Files app in iOS 18. But that's not the only thing the Files app gets, because now, yes, you can finally format an external drive in APFS, exFAT, or MS-DOS FAT. You can even encrypt APFS formatted drives. And in iOS 18, you can set a custom charge limit for batteries. So previously, you could set an 80% optimized battery charging limit, but now you can choose between 100, 95, 90, 85, or 80%. So you get to choose how much charge your battery gets and still preserve your battery's lifespan over time. You can even do it on a one-time basis if you wish to do so. So just allow until tomorrow. And if you speak multiple languages, you're going to love the bilingual keyboard option under Settings, General Keyboard. When you add a second keyboard, so we're just going to search for Spanish, it's going to give you an option to add to the existing, in this case, English US keyboard, or you can just add a new keyboard and have them separate. But now you can add to the existing keyboard, and you can see it's bilingual. You can see the current languages there. So that means that you can actually type in both languages and it will give suggestions for both languages. Pretty cool. Just like that. What do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments section. Will you use this? Oh, and back to battery. There's a new slow charger warning. If you're using a slow charger, your battery health metrics will show you that in your last 24 hours usage graph. And searching within settings is much improved in iOS 18. You'll even get suggestions at the top and some of your recent searches near the top as well. So folks, search is actually useful in the settings app in iOS 18, believe it or not. So folks, that is a look at my favorite low-key hidden features in iOS 18. Which one is your favorite? Did you know them all? Come on, tell the truth. Did you? Let me know down below in the comments section. This is Jeff with 9to5Mac. Special thanks to MacPaul, creators of Clean My Mac X and Clean My Phone, for sponsoring 9to5Mac. Clean My Mac X is an all-in-one utility that removes clutter, optimizes performance, and protects your Mac from malware. While Clean My Phone is a comprehensive and careful iPhone cleaner app designed to free up space and organize your photo gallery. Click the link in the description for a free trial for both apps today. So if you like that video, something tells me that you're going to like these too.